안녕하세요 여러분, English in Korean Plus에 오신 걸 환영합니다. Welcome everyone to English in Korean Plus. Today we're doing the US news summary. As you're probably well aware, a lot of interesting events have transpired in the US. So if you want to say something happened, but you want to say it in a highfalutin way or a sophisticated way, you can say something has transpired. So I think the whole world at this point is aware of the outcome of the US presidential election. It was unexpected. I think it came as a shock to many people in the US and worldwide as well. So if something is a shock to you, we can say it came as a shock, or we also say it came as a surprise. It came as a surprise to me. So came as a surprise, came as a shock to me. That's one way of expressing that. It's another way of just saying it was shocking. It was a surprise. It came as a surprise to many Americans. And then you could say, what happened? So Trump's election to the presidency came as a surprise to many Americans. Or you can say, came as a shock to many Americans. But that was the outcome of the democratic election process. You may have heard that in the US, we don't have a popular vote. A popular vote is the kind of election process where every citizen gets one vote and the person with the most votes wins the election. That's not the system in America. The US system has what's called an Electoral College, and each state has a certain amount of electoral votes, and it depends on the population. So the states that are the most populous, the states with the highest populations, have the largest number of votes in the Electoral College, and so California would have the most. And most states don't split their vote. So if California, for example, let's say has 51% support for Hillary and 49% support for Trump, all of California's electoral votes would go to Hillary. So most states don't split their vote. They vote all together as a block. So it's kind of an intriguing system. It's different than I think most other countries in the world. A lot of democracies have a popular vote. I think in Korea that's the situation as well. So the states, the United States uses an electoral college to choose the president, to vote for the president. And I believe they meet in December to actually cast their ballots. And at that time, the tally, the count is measured, and then the election process is done, is entirely finished. And then next year, there's the inauguration of a new president in January. I believe it's January 21st, maybe somewhere right around there. But at that point, then the new president is inaugurated and takes office. So let's see, there's been a few interesting things worth taking a look at. One is that many people initially took to the streets. If you take to the streets, it means you head out to the streets and protest. So Korea also has had regular protests recently. And when you describe that situation as well, you could say people took to the streets. People took to the streets to protest the government. People took to the streets to protest the outcome of the election. That's an important word to know. Also, voice one's displeasure. So many people have voiced their displeasure in South Korea with the current administration. In the United States, many people have voiced their displeasure with the outcome of the last presidential election. So there were many demonstrations, rallies, protests. Those are all words we use. In Korea, often demonstration is shortened to just demo. But in the US, we don't usually shorten it that way. We would say just demonstration. A demo can be short for demonstration, but in another sense. For example, he gave me a demo of the new technology. He gave me a demonstration of the new technology. In that case, it can be shortened to demo, but it's not usually shortened to demo in the case of a protest or a demonstration in the streets. Okay, so let's see. So now the popular vote has been tallied up. When something's been counted up, we say tallied up. It's tallied up and there's a final tally. It's like a count. So the final tally shows Hillary Clinton winning the popular vote. So she got more actual votes, but fewer Electoral College votes. And like I said, that's how the system works. So some people in the US have called for an abolishment of the Electoral College. So to call for something means you ask for it, you request it, you agitate for it, you demonstrate and demand it. So people have called for an abolishment of the Electoral College system, and some people are saying that it's not fair. Some people are suggesting we have a simple popular vote in the United States. So the abolishment of something means removing it, right? Getting rid of something. So some people are suggesting we get rid of the Electoral College and simply use a popular vote system. Another example of something that was abolished, the word abolished or abolishment, is also used to describe slavery. So during the time of Lincoln, he signed something called the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves. So emancipation means achieving freedom. So Lincoln is famous for signing the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves, and that was called the abolishment or abolition of slavery. But some people now are calling for the abolishment of the Electoral College. So that's been in the news a lot recently. When someone becomes president, when someone is elected, there's the period before they're inaugurated, before they officially take office. So Trump is in that period right now. He won the election, but he has yet to become president. So he's referred to as president-elect. So President-elect Trump has been making appointments for his cabinet. So cabinet are the group of, in Korea, they would be called ministers, right? High-level advisors, people in important roles in the government are called the cabinet, his cabinet positions. And making appointments in this case means assigning that role. So for example, you will be in Korea, like Minister of Defense. You'll be the Minister of Education. Those are called appointments. So he has to make presidential appointments, assigning people to certain roles. And he's been busy doing that. Not surprisingly, most of his picks, most of his choices have conservative leanings or are very conservative. We learned the expression a few weeks ago, lean conservative, right? So people who have conservative leanings lean in a conservative direction. Or if people have liberal leanings, they lean in a liberal direction. So, not surprisingly, he's made a lot of appointments to very conservative politicians or conservative government employees, people who have conservative leanings. So he hasn't finished making his appointments or announcing his appointments, but those are expected within the next few weeks as he fills out his cabinet, the cabinet positions. Okay, let's go back and just review some vocabulary words we learned today. So presidential election, we learned. That's when you choose a president, when the nation chooses a president. The Electoral College, that's the group of representatives in the United States that officially choose the president. Okay, so the people choose by state, and then their representatives in the Electoral College actually choose the president. So it's a strange system, and I think something like that only exists in the United States as far as I know. Once someone is elected president, before they're inaugurated, before they take office, they're called the president-elect. So, President-elect Trump is making cabinet appointments. So cabinet, the group of high-ranking officials that the president chooses to be part of his inner circle, cabinet, the members of the cabinet officials. We learned voice displeasure or voice disagreement. So people took to the streets to voice their displeasure with the outcome. And simultaneously in Korea, people have been taking to the streets to voice their displeasure with the current government here as well. So the opposite of, or the counter to a electoral college vote is the popular vote, which Hillary won. I've seen different tallies. I think I saw one figure that she'd won 2 million more votes and one figure that she'd won 1 million more votes. I think the vote was still coming in, and that's called the popular vote. So people have called for the abolishment of the Electoral College. That means getting rid of it. So some people are demanding that we get rid of the Electoral College and simply use a popular vote. And then cabinet. One other thing is that the highest court in the United States is called the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, and the judges on that court are called justices. So Justice Scalia, Justice Ginsburg, like that. And Trump will have the opportunity to make an appointment to the Supreme Court. He's going to choose a justice for the Supreme Court as well. So I think here in the next year, we'll see a major shift from the liberal policies of the Obama administration to very conservative leaning policies in the future Trump administration. Okay, so those are the words and those are the expressions that you'll need if you discuss the outcome of the US presidential election. Thanks everyone for subscribing, and I appreciate your support. See you next time. Bye-bye.